Hey everybody, this is a project we've been working on since the beginning of the year. Actually, it's 2,000 square foot basement, and are getting we're prepping for paint, trying to get this thing finished by the 20th of March. And these are some photos, the blue tape there on some issues that we are addressing right now. And these pictures are just off my phone. And this is a dartboard that the customer, we were working on the placement. Here are two beautiful columns that were trimmed by our team. And this is the LVP floor that we installed. It is about an $8,000 product here over the 2,000 square foot. I will be adding next go around for the next customer. We will be making sure we add a second acoustical underlayment. We did not do that here. Luckily, our client is okay with that. And here's a close-up of the base cap. I believe I cut about 500 cuts in over a 2-day period. It did take a while. Here's some issues with the sheetrock, some imperfections. We are getting those fixed. That's what we're doing, prepping for the paint, making sure every little detail is sanded, smooth. This is the columns before the base cap, and I'm so glad that Mike talked me into the extra expense and it took about extra 3 days of my time, but man, what a big difference. I believe this was when I was walking around this column. It had been twisted. No, this was after. Oh, there's some caulk. Luckily, the base cap did cover that up. Well, it was a sheetrock. We had to float it out because the column was twisted, and I had to twist or trim it square. So those corner boards had to be trimmed and twisted to become square. Here it is, maybe a week ago. This is an epoxy floor that took us almost a week and a half to get right. We applied and poured one layer of epoxy, and it didn't, we weren't happy with it, so we came back another and redid it. Actually, another expense that we took on, make sure we did it right. Here's 2 weeks ago, maybe the same when we were trimming the columns. And here's that where we floated that sheetrock out. We had to pull the corner boards and plumb them and square them and how I did it was I trimmed it and then tapped it, and that was where that gap came from. But now they're square with each other, square with the room, and they are square with the floor. Most importantly, the floor joints. Here are the measurements that the column was twisted. Here's a picture of the first epoxy floor at the clear coat. We were a little low on clear coat and tried to make it. And here are just some this is shrinkage of the sheetrock that's kind of normal, so we're just going over blue tape and everything. So when we went to clear coat the epoxy, we had 430 square feet, and the package clear coat material square foot recommendation says it covers 500 square feet. Well, we ended up using one of those, and it just was not enough, didn't cover enough, and you could see those imperfections in the clear coat. So we ended up sanding that clear coat. So we completed the whole floor up to the clear coat, and we were not happy with it. So we sanded the clear coat and re-poured a new epoxy and re-poured a new clear coat. So we did it twice, really. But now we're happy with it, and the customer's happy with it. It has made that concrete much stronger and more durable. It's already a beautiful slab. Here's, I'm not sure what that blurry picture is, but this is the mechanical room before the epoxy. And we actually ended up throwing in this mechanical room epoxy floor into the deal after the fact with no extra charge. Here's a plastic test, a moisture test. So when we have to etch the concrete with a muriatic acid or a real strong acid that cuts into the top slick layer of the concrete for adhesion, and also put this plastic down for a moisture test. We don't want any moisture coming in or up from the and so if you put this plastic down for 24 hours and remove it, and if the concrete is dark or discolored or darker under the plastic, then it means there's moisture. Here's before the first wash or the first etching wash. I was testing the substrate concrete substrate for any loose soft spots that needed to be scrubbed some more. I found the spot, and we ended up rinsing it again. Make sure we scrub all that off and get a good clean surface before epoxy. And I believe we did this it took literally about a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks, because the concrete had to be washed,
just a little bit of moisture
and
still
edged
around the edges, and a little bit
and
of
then
moisture
dried.
here.
We'd have to let the water dry
Maybe I'll just
with the epoxy. Then the epoxy, we could apply the epoxy, but it had to dry for 24 hours.
definitely.
And then we could do the clear coat, and it had to dry for 10 to 12 hours minimum. So
Looking good for tomorrow, I think.
a lot of concrete video here.
All right, guys.
A lot more of this
It's,
mechanical room floor.
What time is it? What time is it?
I think this was
Taking my
this
shoes
was
off.
Josiah
So we don't get
and
any
I checking on it, and Micah one night
but
to make sure
sheetrock. I got this
that
fan running.
everything was dry, everything was going to be
And
good
it's on-
for the next morning when the crew showed
And
up.
it's on the highest, it's on the
Make
highest
sure
level. We just see a
that
little bit of
everything was
moisture
ready.
here, looks like,
And
in this joint. So I kind of put it.
so it's been
There.
been a real pleasure
is
working
dark, but
and
it-
finishing
It
this
definitely feels dry.
basement, 2,000
It's a
square
little bit
foot
wet
basement.
Or
We
moist.
installed the insulation,
Maybe around the edges,
installed
but I
the
definitely feel
framing.
the
Framing. This closet was
definitely moist
already
around there.
sheetrocked. Here I'm just seeing there was moisture still. This was the night after the crew washed it with an etching
circulating air, a little
wash,
bit of moisture
chemical
there.
wash,
So
and we had to move the
think we'll be good
refrigerator and the freezer
after
out
that
of the
runs all
mechanical
night.
room.
that's in this room.
This was some stains that I was concerned about that were in the concrete, and once that muriatic, and it was dirt, basically dirt, red clay, and after a couple hours that actually disappeared. This was before the trimmings went on, the interior trim. And this room here, we are still, or Monday, we're getting drop tile ceiling installed. Temporary lights were hooked up just to have temporary lights going, and there was some confusion because a switch got hooked up backwards and it was just temporarily hooked up. And they'll be coming Sunday to install the electrical trimming. This is during the sheetrock, right after the sheetrock got installed. We had a big mess there on the floor, had to clean up. The tub shower got installed and the green board around that to protect from moisture, and the water closet there didn't have enough room for a door, and this was a picture. Oh gosh, this was the water test to test for the inspector to test that the drain is not leaking, and that so it has to sit with water there until the inspector shows up and it gets all dirty. There's the exhaust fan installed. Here's the insulation being installed. There was a question. Oh, this was needing insulation here. The walls got insulated, and the ceiling or the floor joist above already was existing insulation, but this gap here, exposed exterior wall, was not insulated. So luckily we caught that, noticed that, and I got the message to the crew to make sure before they left to get that gap between the top of the wall and the maybe I didn't get it to them before they left. They had to come back and do it. Luckily, the insulation installers and the sheetrock installers are the same crew, so we just made sure we got that gap there insulated. I'm not sure if I have a picture of it. This is a wire there we had a question about. It's for, we did determine what it was for. Some ducts. This is a TV outlet. We ran 2 Cat 5 cables, 1 extra Cat 5 cable just in case something went bad with the first one. There are those columns that got twisted. An engineer built this house. Here's some columns as well, and I wish hindsight I would have known and framed those out of a 2x6 wall, because there is a slight bulge in the sheetrock that is noticeable where those steel columns go through the wall. Here's the framing. That I believe that was the day of framing. And there's a drain. This is when I realized the columns were framed and they were about 3/8 of an inch twisted for some reason. Just the two in the back had difficulties there. I guess the framers got tired at the end of the day. I'm not sure what happened there, but we did get it fixed. Some more framing. This is the plan that we rendered in-house with our team. The existing and proposed, so that we could apply for the permit. Basement finishing, I believe Walton County, it was a remodel or an alteration permit, I believe it was an alteration permit, maybe. The sewer lines and the water lines, tapping into those, had already been really pre-planned by the owner and our customer at the original building of this house. And I believe he built it in the 90s, so a lot of that was right on in line, right on spot. And it worked out really well, actually. Here's some more framing. The AR Pack did a great job framing. That was the day before the columns got framed, if you could have seen. There's the permit box and the material getting dropped off. This is just a highlighted plan that was sent to the framer to show him what exactly was going to be framed. This are some measurements, making sure we ordered the proper shower tub size and the left hand or right hand drain. The customer did have an issue with this water filter, and while we were there, we were able to fix a leak. This is some type of a expansion tank. I haven't asked him what it's for. I'm sure there's a water filter. I'm not sure what the tank is for. I'm thinking it's a expansion tank. And this is before any framing. And you see the big LVL beams and posts. Well, thanks for watching, and see you on the other side.